Hey, I'm Dr. Jenny Jorgensen from Frontier Pediatrics, and this is my partner,
Dr. Corinne Barchi.
and we're here to talk about
High school sex.
oh gosh. Let's talk about STDs. Maybe that's a good thing to kind of talk about for teenagers, because I think that's something that we talk about and we see a lot in clinic. I think people are always surprised when I share how many STDs.
My favorite is there any chance you could have an STD? No.
No way.
No way.
You're like,
How is there no?
We need to screen.
No way.
Gosh.
Absolutely
I
not.
mean, I think we probably diagnose chlamydia at least once a week. Most of my patients are asymptomatic.
Yeah, I would say 100%.
I'm picking up the majority of them because they're coming in and I'm recommending a routine screening.
Right.
They're not coming in asking me to screen them. I'm recommending, hey, you're at that age, you're engaging in sexual activity, you know, whatever it might be. The recommendations from the AAP are we start screening at 16. Yeah.
I also like to let them know that there's easy ways to check, that it doesn't have to be invasive. They can
Right.
self-swab, they can pee in a cup.
Right.
Right? Like you don't have to have them declothed to check for
Right.
chlamydia or gonorrhea.
Right. Yeah.
Or trichomonas.
And we can and should check in a way that's not shameful.
Yeah.
So I had a patient who was also a family friend, and they were doing their senior project on sex ed and offering a non-binary perspective of sex ed.
I was going to say we should probably touch on.
Yeah. And it was a really awesome project to be able to be a part of and offer that scientific perspective on some of those things. And one of the things that was interesting and was something that we talked about is the fact that when babies are inside their mama, inside the belly, and they're growing, that initially their genitalia is exactly the same. Males and females have exactly the same genitalia at the beginning. And then around, I want to say, oh gosh, now I have to go back, 8 to 10 weeks, something like that, male babies' brains get bathed in testosterone, and that starts changing the way that their genitalia develop. But that at the core of all genitalia, whether you're assigned male or you're assigned female, is all the same basic core tissue. It just presents itself a little bit differently based upon what hormones are bathing that brain as that genitalia develops. So it's not like you're born male or you're born female. You are, but there's so many pieces, and all of those pieces and parts actually have the same origin.
I've actually had a baby born, not me personally, but that had
Like
ambiguous genitalia
yeah.
that you could be either one. I would say that I've learned over the many years that sexuality is fluid, and it doesn't, just because you're a boy doesn't mean that you're out. Like, it's just fluid. It can be ever changing.
Okay.
And so at least that's my experience.
And sexuality develops. That's part of going
Right.
through puberty, is partly when sexuality.
So there's
like-
many things
yeah.
that, and just if you're transgender and identify as female or male, or if you're non-binary and don't identify as either, your sexuality can be anything. And so just being open and giving grace to all of it, right? And just knowing that everyone is human and a person and needs space to be who they are.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to clarify a little bit, because I think 100% what you just said. Amen. So sexuality has more to do with like who you're attracted to,
Right.
who sexually arouses you, regardless of the gender. Gender has more to do with the anatomy that you have, right?
Right.
So when people are talking about their gender, they're talking about what their anatomy is. And when somebody is talking about their sexuality, they're talking about who they're attracted to. I want my patients to be happy and healthy. And the more that I can give them space to help to help them self-discover some of those things, instead of creating limitations and barriers and shame. Or judgment, the happier and healthier they're going to be. And so I feel like that's kind of the position I really try to take, to your point where you're like, let's love everybody, let's give space, I don't
And
know.
it's just more prevalent in that teenage population now, where
Right.
they're being faced with those, just more of it's being more openly talked about, and we're seeing more. I know that I have patients, you have patients. I would say you and I probably have the most, and just creating a safe space that they feel safe and comfortable talking.
I see a lot of fear for parents, I think. And I think some of their fear is founded, right, because of culture and because of perspectives that people might have. And I think some of their fear is not founded. And generally, the kids that do the very best is when they have parents that are there, like, we love you because of you, and we're going to give you this space to help figure this out. And we're not going to be fearful of what the end point might be. We're going to give you this space to figure this out, and we're going to support you
open
and love
communication.
you, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to openly talk about maybe what my fears might be. I feel like those are the kids who tend to do the best, and the parent and child relationships who do the best. The ones where it's like, absolutely not, this doesn't exist, no, 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 that does not normally go over well. And those kids typically suffer a lot of depression and anxiety and a lot of other things. And many times they aren't making safe sexual decisions because they're
Confused and don't have guidance
Yeah.
and conversation
Yeah.
and support.
and so they're making very risky sexual decisions that are not helping them be happy and healthy.
I would say that this generation is better about body image than
Yeah.
our generation.
I would agree. I think I talk a lot about your body is you're made the way you're made, and you can't look at magazines and videos, TikToks and Instagram and movies
Filters and
be like, oh, I'm supposed to look like that, because that's not real and that's not your genes, right? You need to look at your family members and be like, oh, those are my genes. That's what I meant. And then embrace, what does it look like to be healthy with those genes? And I try to focus more not on specific weight needing to be within an area, but instead focus on what's healthy, what's stable, that type of that's where I really try,
Right.
especially when you're doing like growth charts with kids.
yeah,
It really,
I hate the BMI growth chart.
Yeah.
In well checks, you go over growth charts, but I think having a conversation in a way that isn't shameful for the
Right.
child is so important.
Right.
Because they start feeling it young. I think trying, again, kind of like reading the room and seeing, right, because there's some kids that'll come, and then you already know that they have body image issues with things. And so not being like, your BMI is in the 97th percentile, that's obese, right? Like, to me, that's not the right approach.
That's not going to help anything, no.
And that's just going to, but like
Perpetuate
identifying
body image
yeah,
issues,
that's going to make
probably.
it
Yeah.
worse. Do we have emotional eating? Do we have, I mean, a common thing I get is, well, all they'll eat is junk, right? Well, if all there is junk in the house, then that's all they're going to eat. And yeah, Cheetos are going to taste better than broccoli, right? And so kind of like educating the whole, like,
The whole family.
every kid is going to want to choose the crap if it's there
Yeah.
and reachable,
Yeah.
right? And so just approaching it in a way where it's not, or be like, having a side conversation with, hey, I know that you brought up that you were concerned about their weight. There has been like a 15-pound weight increase in 6 months.
I just try to focus on let's healthy. How can we help your body be healthy? I always feel like it's a bit of a tightrope dance, talking about weight and talking about growth and talking about it in a way that is honest, but also really positive. But I also think that it's those conversations with those parents. And I mean, there's a whole slew of evidence that the more time your kids spend on social media, the more body image, the more depression, the more anxiety, the more issues they're going to have.
And then they're not moving, too.
And exactly. So it's like this double whammy. So that's something definitely parents can be engaged in and help. Hey, thanks so much for watching this educational video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any more questions, you can always reach out to us at Frontier Peds. You can call us or you can go to our website.